Buying or selling the New Orleans Saints. All right, interesting conversation. Check the mic as the backdrop. So they're doing all the 0-2 teams. They're starting off with the Saints. Buy or sell. All right, there's some 0-2 teams. I say this all the time, and people get kind of confused, but not all 0-2 are equal. Not all 1-1 is equal. Not all 2-0 are equal. All right, so the Saints 0-2, I think, is very different than the Panthers 0-2, than the Bears 0-2, for example. The Browns 0-2 is very different than the Saints 0-2. Like, it's all, there's so much context and so much stuff going on. So I think, and I know the answer because we already talked about it, but people are buying into the Saints. They are upgrading the Saints across the board. Every single power ranking I've seen this week, actually, now that I think about it, besides mine, because I think I downgraded the Saints one in mine. And if you're not getting my power rankings on Twitter or Instagram, what in the hell are you doing with your life? But everyone is upgrading the Saints. Why? Because the prior ranking from this off season was so out of whack. They had them 32, 33, 34, 35. Some had them at 45. Some had them in the Big 12. The Saints were never, ever 32nd team. So now people are caught in an interesting scenario where they are forced to upgrade an 0-2 team who they came into the season thinking was the worst team in the NFL. Think about how insane that statement is. A team that they thought was the worst team in the NFL started off 0-2, and they're now upgrading them. Because the play on the field shows it. The play on the field shows they have to be upgraded. So I think the answer for them is going to be buy. I think they're going to buy in on the Saints because everything I just laid out.
Are they a legit 0-2?
Yeah, I mean, they're a bad football team, but they're better than I thought they were going to be.
Agreed. And Spencer Rattler has looked pretty reasonable through 2 weeks. I think I honestly wasn't sure how long he would even hold the job, but it looks like unless there's a disaster, it's him for a while, and you might.
All right. True. And this was another thing that we kind of went back and forth on. This entire offseason, I've said the Saints are a 6, 7, 8 win team, somewhere in that ballpark. That's like the comfortable cone, if you will, of where the Saints will land. That's a far cry from 1 win, 0 wins, 2 wins, 3 wins, right? So, like, are the Saints a good team? No. They're 0-2. They're rebuilding. New roster. New coach. Like, no. They're not a good team. But they're not a disastrous, sell the team, rebuild, 0-17 tank for Arch situation.
Not know what you got from Tyler Shuck.
I mean, Tyler Shuck's career might already be in jeopardy because they don't have enough committed in him that, like, they have to see what they have in him at any point, and they could be on to the next guy before Tyler Shuck ever gets the opportunity to win the job.
I would say
it's a weird situation with Shuck, I'll admit, because Rattler is playing so good right now. Remember, I think he was like 8th on Pro Football Focus's quarterback grades. He's playing so well, and the Saints seem to be trending upwards. So just from a team standpoint, you can't just bench Rattler, right? So it's a long season, and we'll see what happens. But if Rattler continues this trajectory, and if the Saints start winning, especially, Tyler Shuck can't get on the field. And then that's the catch-22, where if you play Spencer Rattler because he's playing well, and you play him the entire season, why would you bench him after, right? Because it's like one of those, if A is true, B is false. If he is playing good enough to start the entire season, he's probably playing good enough to start the next season, So it is kind of and again, it's 2 games. Rattler could throw 3 interceptions in Seattle, and this whole thing could be, just completely backwards. But right now, I don't see a timeline for Shuck getting on the field. It certainly is not, week 4 or week 5 or whatever we were saying earlier, unless this road trip for Rattler is a disaster. And I mean, Seattle has a serious defense. Buffalo, not so much. But, if he gets through these 2 games close to how he's been playing, And man, if he even takes it up another level and wins one of these, yeah, I don't know. It would take a lot, I think, for him to lose the job.
Just as interesting a story for the Saints. When we came into the year, we were listing all of these quarterbacks. Which quarterback in college is going to make the big step forward and become the number 1 overall pick? By this time last year, we had similar questions, but you saw Cam Ward play, and you're like, Cam Ward could be the guy. And that eventually happened. This year's class of potential number 1 overall picks, including Arch Manning, by the way, who is now 150% guaranteed to be going back to Texas if he's not like run out of town. It's not going to be Arch Manning. I'm not sure Lenore Sellers is ready. I'm not sure Garrett Nussmeier's ready to be that guy. I'm not sure John Mateer, as great as he looks in college, is ready to be that guy. Good. He looks great in college.
Yeah, Mateer's sweet. But yeah, I agree. Like, and that is a huge danger of the draft thing, because you can have guys who it's like, this guy is sweet. Okay, well, does that mean he can be a first overall pick? Does that mean he's a legitimate franchise quarterback? Right now, where you are sitting, is Bo Nix a legitimate franchise quarterback of the Denver Broncos? Is C.J. Stroud a legitimate franchise quarterback in Houston? Is Caleb Williams a legitimate franchise quarterback in Chicago? Is Trevor Lawrence a legitimate franchise quarterback in Jacksonville? Is Tua Tagovailoa a legitimate franchise quarterback in Miami? Is J.J. McCarthy a legitimate franchise quarterback in Minnesota? It is so hard to find that. It's so hard, even with like success in the NFL. Like C.J. Stroud had an incredible rookie year. Like Bo Nix had an incredible rookie year. But it's hard to know. Tua looked really good early on in his career. Now, what makes it even harder is when you're trying to do that without any NFL experience at all, when it's just college tape, right? So this whole this guy's the answer, that guy's the answer, tank for this guy, draft this guy. We don't know what these guys are going to be like. We have no clue. No clue. I use Mac Jones as an example all the time. Mac Jones, insane rookie year. Next Tom Brady, run out of town, in San Francisco now, looks okay. Who we don't even know, even with all the data from Mac Jones, all of what he did at Alabama, what he did in New England, what he's doing now in San Francisco. Is he good? Is he not? Who the hell knows? It is a tricky business when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL.
Which I'm not sure he looks ready for the NFL.
He's the one guy whose stock is moving in the right direction.
It is. But
Carson Beck's stock's moving in the right direction too.
All I'm saying is the Saints might be in this world where they were probably thinking about drafting a quarterback. There might not be even a viable candidate. And if Spencer Rattler keeps playing well, it's like, we're going to build around Spencer Rattler.
2 weeks. I want you to think about this. Really, it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Think about this. And this is why you can't be knee-jerk reaction. This is why you got to have your own kind of ideas. 3 weeks ago, the Saints were 0-17. They're the worst team in the NFL. They were tanking, and the first overall pick was going to be Arch Manning. 3 weeks later, the Saints are upgraded. Arch Manning is probably not even a third-round pick right now. He's going back to Texas. Think about how much has changed just in those 3 weeks.
And we're just going to build up the rest of the roster. I anticipate the Saints continuing to lose, I guess is the point.
Yeah, again,
and the last one was the Saints are 0-17 and tanking for Arch Manning. 3 weeks later, they're not even drafting a quarterback in the first round. Think about that swing. Think about how different that is.
I think they're much more competitive than I thought they would be. Spencer Rattler has looked pretty good relative to expectations, but they're still not a good football team, particularly on defense.
What a list of 0-2 teams, by the way. Saints, Bears, Giants, Titans, Browns, Dolphins, and then the Texans and Chiefs. Bears, Bayern.
And the Giants are the exact same way that I said they would be in the offseason. Exact same as the Saints, where it's like, damn, the Giants do have a lot. Like, Malik Neighbors is the man. Russell Wilson can play the game. All right, Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scadaboo. They've got a gnarly defensive line. Brian Daboll's a good enough coach. Then you see the Giants do what they did against the Cowboys, albeit they lost. But you look at the Giants and what the fight they put up, and then you look at the Jets or you look at the Bears or whoever. It's like, oh, man. I want to hear what they say about the Bears, because the Bears were double Fugazi. One, Ben Johnson. I like Ben Johnson. All right, I like him. But I don't agree when you have two of the same resumes, like Ben Johnson and Kellen Moore, and one of them is being basically shot put into the Hall of Fame, and the other one is like, I don't know if he's going to be a good head coach. It's like, all right, I'm not saying either is right or wrong, but you have to be somewhere in the middle on this analysis. You can't have, and Ben Johnson and Kellen Moore virtually the exact same resume, except Kellen Moore won the Super Bowl. Ben Johnson did not. You could honestly, Kellen Moore has a better resume. We've covered that. But to say one is going to be a Hall of Famer, one's a no doubter, one is the man, one is going to do all this, and the other one is red flag question mark. It's like that's the thing I didn't understand. And now you've got Ben Johnson, who all of a sudden question marks. Caleb Williams, big question marks. So I got a feeling they're going to be selling on the Bears.
Selling.
I mean, I'm buying it in that I don't think they're particularly good. The question for Chicago, so the Saints, I think we expect to be bad start to finish, right? They might win a game or two or three here or there, but like they're probably a bad team. Chicago, the question I think is more interesting, which is they're pretty bad right now, but do they get better over the course of the year, or is this what it is until next year?
I mean, my priors on Chicago were that week 8, week 9, watch out. That's when they turn it around. So if I had to predict a team turning it around, I don't think the Bears are devoid of talent. I think losing Jalen Johnson is a blow. That certainly hurts the secondary, because even cornerback 2.
All right, I've heard enough. Here's the deal. Ben Johnson, question mark. Just because he's an unknown. He's a first-time head coach, we don't know. All right, I like Ben Johnson, but unknown. Caleb Williams is an unknown still. We have no idea what he is as a player. Like Colston Loveland as your 11th overall pick or whatever it was, 10th overall pick, 11th overall pick, question mark. And it's 2 games, whatever, but you passed up on Tyler Warren, passed up on a lot of players. You got a question mark in Ben Johnson. You take Colston Loveland basically in the top 10. Or maybe even in the top 10. I can't remember if it was 10 or 11. But I don't know. All right. Are you buying or selling the Saints? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.